The Romans, by the way, the very beginning, very tolerant toward the Jews. They actually liked them. They put someone on behalf of them to reign and to rule over the Jews. Someone who speaks their language, who understands their culture and their whole way of thinking, because they didn't want to do the same mistake of the Greeks. But the Romans said they can worship their God, they can have their own temple, we will worship our gods. The Romans were tolerant in that sense. The problem began when the governors who were sent to the area on behalf of Rome were very corrupt and very abusive. In the year 60 AD, one of the governors called Gassius Florus, who was known as the butcher from Rome, decided to come, and he stole the treasures from the temple. And he made them start offering sacrifices to Caesar in the temple. And that was only a matter of time until the Jewish people would decide enough is enough. In the year 66, the Jewish people started a great revolt against the Romans. At first, we were successful, the first 2 years. Then the Romans decided to send their best general, General Vespasian, and his son Titus. Vespasian, right in the middle of the conquest, was called back to Rome and he became Caesar. Caesar Vespasian. And he left his son Titus to finish the job. And in the summer of the year 70 AD, Titus Vespasian destroyed Jerusalem, leveled the temple, burned the Holy of Holies for about 3-4 days, and took all the treasures of the temple and brought them to Rome. Look at this. This picture is from the Arch of Titus in Rome. In the inside part, it describes how the Jewish slaves are being carried into Rome with all the treasures of the temple, including that menorah that I believe is up until today in Rome, actually. Here it is. They destroyed it. Guess what? The Roman Empire, that big empire, is no longer with us. It's completely destroyed. I believe it will revive. I believe that in a modern sense and form. But they're gone. And after the Romans adopted Christianity, and they moved their capital from Rome to the city of Byzantion, which is Constantinople and Istanbul today. And that's why they became the Byzantines. But once they adopted Christianity, they adopted it in the wrong sense and way and form. And you will see shortly what I mean. But I want you to know that for them, it's not about killing the Jews, it's about spreading venom regarding the Jewish people that allowed others to kill them. And if that's not enough, after the Byzantines, the Muslims came, and the Muslims, believe it or not, in the very beginning, the Muslims were very tolerant toward the Jews, and the Jewish people were not their problem at all. In fact, they used the Jews as their doctors and all of that. Interestingly enough, it was not until the 11th and the 12th century when the Catholic knights from Western Europe came, known as the Crusaders. And on their way to liberate the Holy Sepulchre from the hands of the infidels, they destroyed and killed hundreds of thousands of Muslims and Jews alive. They would take the Jews, lock them in their synagogue, and burn them alive. They did that all over their route from Western Europe all the way to Israel and in Jerusalem itself. They thought that by carrying a cross on their gowns and on their shields, they basically show their love and dedication to Christ. All they did is the worst service ever to Jesus Christ. You know why? Because today, you go to speak to a Jew or to a Muslim about Jesus Christ, and he will tell you one thing. You tell me that you judge the tree by the fruit. If this is the fruit, I don't want that tree. Very simple. murder, killing, bloodshed. That's what you call Christianity. They did the worst service to Jesus. I don't believe they really knew Jesus. And if that's not enough, towards the 15, 16, and the 1700s, a new form of hatred toward the Jews came, and books were started being printed. And one of the books that was printed that caused big pogroms all over Jewish towns and villages in Eastern Europe in those days was a book called The Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion, which basically contained the secret plan of the Jews to take over the world. And how the Jews are carefully planning how to deceive the Gentiles and take over the world. And of course, this is the fruit of the imagination of people who hated the Jews. But believe it or not, so many Gentiles believe these lies and allow themselves to be the heroes by killing Jews all wherever they could find, just so they will not take over the world. But he did not stop there. Guess what? Right after World War I, from the ashes of World War I came a new political party that was founded by Adolf Hitler. It's called the National Socialist Party of Germany, and if you shorten it, it's Nazi, from National. And this man produced the most brilliant idea to help people feel good about getting rid of the Jews. They're not even human. They're not. I have a question for you. Okay, let's say you live in a nice house, and next to you, there's another nice house. And the house of your neighbor, there's a little boy, he's 11 years old. And that little boy has a small little Persian cat. Beautiful and clean and nice. One day you walk in the street, and you see the beautiful Persian cat of the little boy run to the street. And there's a car coming. Would you try to save that cat's life? Would you? Why? Because of the boy. Because you could do something about it. All right. What if your neighbor, the father of the son, has been complaining in your ears that for the past 2 months, there's a big, fat, ugly rat